All right, we are live on YouTube, and I want to welcome all our viewers. I already see Aaron. He's queued up and ready to go, and I know that others will be joining us shortly. My name is Abbey, and I want to welcome you to Arbitrage Q&A. We do this every Saturday at noon Central Standard Time. Seth Kniep has allowed us to come on the Just One Dime channel and to do this program because, you know what, Just One Dime cares about arbitrage too, and we're excited about that. Joining me is the world famous Allan Urizar, and as always, I'm really thrilled to have him on the program. So, Allan, say hey.
Hey man, how are you guys doing? I'm very happy to be here, back home, and that feels really good.
Yeah, Allan has been traveling. Some of you have a vision for expanding your margin through doing arbitrage on Amazon so that you can travel. And so, I don't know, Allan, maybe you can paint a picture of what your life has looked like the last month or two.
Well, I started, with when we started on setting on Amazon. One of our goals with my wife was to be able to travel and spend time with family, and so we made it our main goal was to work very hard for as long as we could until we'll be able to travel. So the last 2 years we've been able to travel 1 or 2 months out of the year. And so this year we left our house November 5th or November 6th, and we just came back last Sunday. So we went out and we traveled for a little bit over a month, about 5 weeks. And we went back home to Guatemala, and then we went to Europe. We took our family, my mom and my wife's parents, to Europe, and it was a great experience. And we were very happy to have them experience, visiting Europe and different countries and cities there. So we spent 2 weeks in Europe, and we're back home, and very happy that we got to enjoy and share this, traveling experience with our parents.
That's really awesome. One of my goals, now that I've achieved some of the other ones, is that I'd like to take our family to Disney, which is almost as expensive as going to Europe, really.
Yes.
But my youngest she'll be 2 in March. And so I've got about 3 years to get to that goal, because I don't really want to take the family down there with the youngest being so little. So I've got a couple home projects that I might try to have as goals on my way to that one. But I love the idea of being able to do stuff like that and to enjoy that with family. It's hard to put a value on what it's like to have that sort of experience with people that you love. So that's really cool. I see Bob. Hey there. Salima, Kyle, Tessa. Welcome. We will get to your questions in just a second. I want to show you why it is that Allan is able to travel. He's been working. How long have you been doing arbitrage on Amazon, Allan?
A little bit over 3 years. I started June 2016.
Okay, so 3.5 years Allan's been at this, and he's been able to build his business to a point where he can travel, and he's not just driving to Washington, D.C., though there's nothing wrong with that. But like, he's traveling to Europe, and he's going home to Guatemala, and these are really cool opportunities that he's been able to forge, and he's taking people with him. Alex, I see you. Josh, Marat, welcome aboard. So I'm excited to show you some of Allan's numbers. I asked Allan if he was okay sharing his numbers, and I asked him to just take a snapshot today. This is just real-time numbers from his account. He's not trying to brag. I asked him to do this. I thought it would be stimulating for you, and as viewers, it would just kind of hold out a vision for what you can do with your business. And I consistently get pushback from people saying, the golden days of Amazon are over, and the opportunity to do arbitrage successfully has passed us by. And I just want to push back on that every chance I get in this program to say arbitrage is alive and well. It's prospering. Amazon is still growing. The opportunity for sellers like you and me is still growing. And Allan and I are just trying to say we're examples of that. And it's not because we have business degrees or we have some secret sauce that we've been able to come up with. We really don't hold back any secrets, because there aren't any. It's a combination of thoughtful approach to a business on Amazon and hard work, hustle. That's really what it's all about. And so Allan's been putting in that kind of work for over 3 years, and his numbers will prove that what he's doing works and that arbitrage is alive and well. So I want to share my screen and just give you a glimpse of what Allan's numbers look like? And so you can see right here in the last 30 days, just 30 days. So this is 1 month. Allan has been able to generate over $145,000 in sales revenue. So this doesn't mean that Allan's making, $145,000 a month and that's just sliding right into his pocket. But if you can build a business where your revenue is $145,000 in a month's time, you're going to be in really good shape. And so I look at these numbers and I say, Allan, congratulations. I know this is the product of a lot of hard work. And it's the product of the fourth quarter that we love so well. So Allan would also be candid to say he's not making $145,000 a month every single month when it comes to revenue. Yet this is fantastic. And just to give you a glimpse of what he's doing over the course of the year, well, here's another testimony to fourth quarter. I asked him to take a snapshot today of what he's done just in December, and he's already generated $75,000 in revenue in that's 2 weeks. And so he's well on his way of surpassing that 145,000 when he takes a look at the whole of December. I hope you guys are enjoying quarter four. Those of you who are selling, this is a sweet time to really generate revenue and to make good money. And so this is really cool. And unless you think, well, he's just padding his stats for the fourth quarter. It is true. If you're in retail, you're going to make significant revenue in the fourth quarter that you're not making previously. And we've talked about that in the program. That's true for anybody who's doing retail. But take a look at his year-long numbers. I think this is pretty cool. It's got to be fun, Allan, to be able to say already in 2019, you've surpassed 500,000 in sales. There's something about just being able to put million in that sentence that's kind of fun. So
yeah, that's true.
Congratulations for this.
Thank you, man.
And what would you say?
Building throughout the year, so it's not, you have to put a lot of work at the beginning, but the retail sales, they just take off after July, August. It just takes off.
Yeah, so you can see the first half of his year here, it's steady and he's making sales and he's making money, but you can see a significant increase over the summer as he approached August. And that might have had some to do with the amount of time and energy and money he was investing in the business, but it also had a lot to do with the fact that he was moving into the second half of the year. And so he's got an increase here. And then certainly as he moves into the fourth quarter, he's got a significant increase. And, that just helps to shape the contours of what you're doing throughout the whole year. But it doesn't change the fact that this number is reflected of a year-to-date snapshot of what he's done in the majority of 2019. And so he's very likely to hit 600,000 in revenue. And even if he's profiting 10% of that, which I know he's doing more, that's a nice piece of the pie for sure. So let me ask you a couple questions, Allan, in light of this, and then we'll take questions of those who are viewing our program. But, if somebody's just starting out or they're in the early stages of doing arbitrage on Amazon, and by the way, this is 100% pure arbitrage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, how cool is that? So he's doing arbitrage. He's not trying to build his stats via some other avenue and then make arbitrage look good. He's finding arbitrage opportunities today throughout this year that have been able to produce revenue for him and produce strong profit for him.
Yeah, you're asking me about private label, and although I love private label and I've launched a few private label products, I don't have my numbers for private label are very, very small, and I'm working. I was showing you right here that I'm working on one product, getting it launched, but it's just arbitrage. I've been able to to find a lot of arbitrage products and just grow my business using that model. That I'm still my end goal is to have private label products and build my business with private label, but I'm still not there yet.
Yeah, and some people, personality weighs into this a lot. Skill set can weigh into it. how you manage your life and the other things that are competing for your time and attention can weigh into this. And for some people, private label just works really well and it comes natural to them. For others, arbitrage does. Maybe some of the viewers feel like wholesale is kind of the lane that they like to function in. We're advocates of really figuring out what works for you. And that's one of the beauties of selling on Amazon is you can design the business to custom fit your convictions and your personality and your skill set. And for Allan and I, we've found that arbitrage has just worked for us and it's come natural. And it doesn't mean that we've thrown out the idea of doing private label, but as we've just tried to put one foot in front of the other, we've found that our pace in doing arbitrage has continued to grow, and we've both struggled with private label, and it doesn't mean we've given up on it either. And so, and I think you kind of hit a sweet spot when you can get both of them working together in some ways. And so we have a lot of members who are members of the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership that Just One Dime provides, and others are members of the Amazon FBA Mastery membership, and they're launching their own product. And we have a ton of members that are a part of both, and they're trying to work the two together, which I think is a great way to move your business forward. So look in the description below and check out, we have links to both. We've been getting new members to Amazon Arbitrage Mastery lately, and it's really fun. Our community is rallying around one another, and I'm excited to see what 2020 is going to look like as our members work together to move their businesses forward. And we've got people from the private label membership joining us in arbitrage, and we've got people who have been doing arbitrage going and working the private label one. And I just think there's a lot of great opportunities to be had. So check out the links below and look into that more. Allan, what would you say to somebody who's just starting out? Maybe they've sold on Amazon a little bit, or maybe they haven't started yet. Like, what can they expect to do with their business in the next, 6 to 12 months? And what would maybe be the first step in beginning to move in your direction?
Well, for me, at the beginning, the one thing that I learned, and I shared this, with in other videos, was being able to focus and really understand and learn one business model, because we have a lot of different ways to sell on Amazon, but if we try to do everything at the beginning, if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be really hard to really see results. And that happened to me at the beginning. First 6 months of my business, I was doing everything I could, just trying to buy product and send it to Amazon different ways. And then when I really went back and I focused on learning how arbitrage works, and I started doing retail and a little bit of online, it really, I really started understanding how Amazon works, how the whole Amazon platform and marketing machine works. And so I recommend everybody to just start with one. It can be private label, it can be wholesale, it can be any business model, but focus on one. Of course, arbitrage is work for us pretty good, and the margins are really good. I do a little bit of wholesale, but it's the margins are not there, and you can combine different models, but you have to really learn one first, and then add other different models to it. So if you're starting up, focusing on one model, understanding that model, and building your business, with just one model helps a lot, because that way you focus and learn everything you need to learn about this model. And then after that, to be able to scale, and I get that question a lot, how can I sell $150,000 myself? Well, you guys probably know this whole year, 2019, I started building a team. Before, I didn't have any team. I was just doing it, me and my wife, and we were able to sell, $30,000, $35,000 a month just with my, two people's effort. So this year we started building a team. We have team, a team of people that help us doing retail, doing online, doing a lot of the day-to-day work. We have BAs that are, helping us manage the business, and that's how we were able to break, the 30,000 to 50,000, and being able to have enough build up on our business to, to crush it on Q4. So I think that'll be my best advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've been a challenge to me, Allan. And I've been thinking about how I can expand. I've been selling on Amazon for over 5 years, and my wife doesn't really want to want to get involved. And sometimes I can't blame her. We got 4 kids under the age of 9 and she's got her hands full, but I've just been doing it all by myself. And so you've been a challenge to me. I hired my first employee this year, which it just felt risky and was a challenge to me, but that's an effort I'm making to expand. And we have talked on this program about virtual assistants before. In fact, in our Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, we just launched a whole bonus section of material specifically on virtual assistants, taking a real deep dive into what to look for if you want to hire and work with virtual assistants, which is a great way to expand your business. So again, in the membership, we're able to do so much more of a deep dive into specific things, whether it's a tool to do arbitrage or something like VAs. It's chock full of additional content, and we try to do updates with consistency. So if some of that is where you're at, maybe you've been selling on Amazon for some time and you really want to take it to the next level. Again, I think considering the membership and the investment that it would be for your business to sign up for the membership is a really great way to move forward. You mentioned wholesale and kind of the different models that are available. Tessa's asking if arbitrage is similar to wholesale. Maybe you can answer that and share a little bit of what the difference is between arbitrage and wholesale.
Well, for me, the way that I see it, arbitrage is just the general, way to do business, like doing resale. It's kind of like the general umbrella, and then under that umbrella, you can do retail, you can do online, you can do wholesale. You could do liquidation pallets. There's a lot of different ways to do arbitrage. Basically, finding a product that is low, that is already selling on Amazon, that has a low price point for you to buy, and then you can resell on Amazon at a higher price. So I think if you compare retail arbitrage with wholesale, it's a little bit different, because with retail arbitrage, you're buying 1 or 2 or 3, 3 units of 1 unit of one product. And then with wholesale, you need to buy maybe 12, 20, 50, 100 units of that same product. It is a little bit different, and you kind of have to learn how to do both different models. But for me, it's in the same umbrella of the arbitrage model. So I do a little bit of wholesale. I do a little bit of I have done pallets. I have done liquidations. All of those different ways to buy products. But the end is just buying, reselling products from buying a low price and then reselling at a higher price.
Yeah, that's right. Good answer. Tessa is kind of following that up and saying that she's a member of the Amazon FBA Mastery membership doing private label, and she's asking if she'll get charged to do the other membership with Just One Dime. It's not a wholesale course. It's an Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. It's a full-blown membership, just like the Amazon FBA Mastery, but it's a separate membership. So yes, there's a charge if you come on board as a member with that, because we're focusing on arbitrage, and it's the whole membership that involves both the course material and the community and the bonus material and just everything that comes by way of benefit with that membership. But my encouragement, Tessa, would be to view it as an investment. And so if you are deciding that to join that membership is a worthwhile investment to move your business forward, then I think that helps with a little different mindset. And again, check out the link below and take a look at it for yourself and see if it would be the right time for you to move into that. We've had a number of people, even just recently, add the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership to their repertoire while they're doing the other one, just like you are, Tessa. And they're working both together and seeing it as a worthwhile investment and getting to where they want to be in 6 months, in 12 months, a year and a half from now, 3 years from now. If you have a long view of where you want to go, these investments are stepping stones to getting where you need to be. There's this guy on here, Allan, named Seth, and he says Allan is absolutely crushing it. Some guy named Seth Kneep. So he's encouraged by what you're doing.
Welcome, Seth. Check out the link below if you're interested in our trainings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, if you email me, Seth, I might give you some additional tips on how to improve your business. But that's all in jest. We love Seth. Selena has a question about shoes, Allan. What are some good places to buy shoes? You may not know it, but Allan loves women's shoes because they make him good money.
Yes, I don't wear them
for no other reason than that.
I just want to buy them and sell them.
But what are good places you found? Are you willing to share don't share all your secrets, but are there a couple places where you've been able to have success with shoes, or any brands that you were able to start out as a beginner?
Well, I do sell a lot of the, most of the brands that you can find. The main stores, we do a lot of retail, and the main stores that we buy shoes from are going to be outlet malls. So if you go to the outlet malls, there's going to be, all the different stores, the Nike store, Adidas, Puma, all these main stores that have outlet stores in these places. And then there's chains of stores that have a mix of a lot of different brands, like Finish Line and the shoe store and all of those. So we usually, we scan everything. I probably will say that now this year, maybe the percentage of shoes for my store is a lot lower than years before, because we've been trying to expand to other categories, and we've been buying from different categories. But yes, the majority of my business is still shoes, and we just try to buy from a lot of different stores. And one of the things that I've been able to do this year, because I've been expanding my team, is I have a team in Houston that they do all the different stores, all the different outlet malls and shoppings in Houston, and Carnival shoes, all the shoes, JCPenney. We try to buy a lot of from a lot of different places, but then I can double that same effort in Florida, because I have another team in Florida, and then I triple that same effort in Georgia, because I'm here in Georgia, and we just go out and buy from the same places, but we're able to triple our inventory capacity, because we have people from different places buying in these same stores.
Yeah. So Aaron's asking if you primarily do clothing and shoes. Are you saying that you would no longer say that that's your primary?
No, last year it was about 80% of my business. This year is probably about 50% of my business. Good. I've been expanding to other categories.
Yeah, and that's, again, one of the cool things about arbitrage is, you can have a niche and you can kind of exploit a particular opportunity that works well for you, but that by no means precludes you from searching for other opportunities. And, there's times when I press into an existing opportunity to try to make good use of every kind of sub opportunity within that one opportunity. But then there's times when I step back and I say, it might take a little more time and effort, but where could I maybe break through and find another opportunity somewhere else that would open up some more vistas for me? And that's what Allan's saying he's done in 2019, is he's kind of taken a step back, and he's said, as I want to scale my business, maybe one of the things I can do is press into some of these other areas that I've neglected a little bit, and hire people that maybe could do a good job of getting in those doorways. And obviously he's having success doing that. So have you seen any difference between ladies' shoes and men's shoes? Do you get more returns with one than the other, or anything like that?
No, it's about the same. I would say, well, we do sell a lot more women's shoes. And if you guys seen other videos, now we only sell athletic shoes. So we don't sell anymore. Like I used to sell a lot of boots, work boots, and I used to sell like formal, shoes and party shoes and all of that. And we get a lot more returns on those kind of shoes. So we started focusing only on athletic shoes, so tennis shoes, and all these kind of products. A lot of sandals for depending on the season. But mostly it's just athletic shoes, and within that niche, we do sell a lot more women's shoes. So we do get more returns, but it's because we sell a lot more of those.
Yeah, and I've experienced that too. As I sell shoes and clothing, I get more returns with shoes and clothing. That just is common sense.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to get stuff that doesn't fit and return it. But on the flip side, I've also found that an extremely high percentage of those returns I'm able to resell through Amazon FBA, because
yes,
somebody tried on the item and just returned it quickly without removing the tags. I can refold it and put it in a poly bag, or I can just add some tissue paper to make sure the shoes look nice and it's not like they were used. And so that's kind of the positive side. The negative is you're going to get more returns. The positive is a lot of those returns you can just recycle right back into sales after inspecting them. and that's helpful. Kyle says, for RA, is there a faster way than going through each website? So if he's talking about websites, I think Kyle meant online arbitrage. OA. Is there a faster way than going through each website, such as Walmart, etc., and sourcing it out on Amazon Seller Central?
Okay. I do use a tool called Tactical Arbitrage, but because of the pricing, the profits that we're looking for, we hardly find any products that have very high profit margins. For example, most of the shoes that we buy, they have from $20 to $25 profit, and it's very hard to find those kind of products using Tactical Arbitrage. So and it might be because we need to learn a little bit more about how to use the tool and the filters and everything. So with the team that we have, the BAs that we have, they do everything manual, and it's a lot easier for them to find products manually because they just go to the website, look at the clearance, and then start comparing to Amazon. So it takes them a little bit less time to find better leads that way. And that's how we're able to find products. So it for somebody that is just doing it for himself, and let's say that you're looking for something with $3-4 in profit, and you don't have a lot of overhead, that could be a Tactical Arbitrage could be a very good help, because you can find a lot of products and then just clean them up, analyze them, and then buy the products for yourself. It doesn't work for me because my margins need to be a little bit higher, but we use it, for trying to, we always keep trying to learn the software and try more leads that way.
Yeah, and what I've liked about Tactical Arbitrage is there's no long-term commitment. So I'll join for a month and just work it for a month, and then I'll cancel and kind of just use the new opportunities I've gained through using Tactical Arbitrage for that month, and then maybe come back to it, I don't know, 6 months or a year later. So you're making a limited commitment when you choose to do it. You're just paying per month, and that can be helpful. You can test it for, what is it, $99 for the basic deal, I think. You can test it for a month and see what you think. Yeah. But it's not as though it just makes it no work. You've got to sort through and work pretty hard at it. So I'm looking down. Mihai, welcome. Mihai is saying, is it possible to do arbitrage and private labeling from the same account? Yes, it is. So how would you do it? You would simply, with arbitrage and with private label, you're using the manage inventory page of your Amazon Seller Central account to create listings and sell product. The difference with arbitrage is that you're finding listings that already exist and have ASINs in the world of Amazon, and now you're just using those listings by bringing them in to your manage inventory and adding your own personal SKU. And we're advocating find listings that already have shown a precedent for selling quickly, they have a low BSR, and for generating profit, so they are making enough money for it to be worth your while. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go into your managed inventory and work to create your own listings and sell your own products, and you can do the same right in the same account. And so as you're pursuing brand registry, for example, and you're setting up and creating your own listings, you're just working those right in alongside the other listings that you're not creating them from scratch, but you're assigning them a SKU and adding them to your managed inventory. And so right there on Seller Central, you can manage both your arbitrage listings and your private label listings, and there's no reason to create multiple accounts. In fact, Amazon, as a general policy, doesn't want you creating multiple accounts. They'll make exceptions to that, but on the whole, that's how sellers are approaching their sales in general. Let's see what else we got here. Alvaro is mentioning, he's coming to us from Miami. He had a great year of sales, and he used Just One Dime Espanol to do that. And so if you're not aware already, for our Spanish speakers, we have both an arbitrage and a private label membership specifically for our Spanish speakers. And you could comment below with questions, or you could email me at eric@justonedime. You can interact with Allan on that. But we have those memberships available too for anyone who is Spanish speaking, like Allan. Let's see what else we got. Celine was wondering how much you spent to sell $145,000 a month? That might be a hard question to answer, but.
It is a little bit hard because we've been building our inventory, for the whole year. So I was just looking at yesterday's sales, and we sold like five items that we purchased in April. So it took a long time to be able to sell, but now that the season is here, we're selling items that a lot, some items that we had for a long time. The only thing that I know is that I move about 30% of my inventory every month. Of course, this November, December is totally different because we're probably running out of stock already from our inventory. But we move about 30% of our inventory every month on a regular month. So in order to sell $100,000 in a regular month, I will need to have like $250,000 or $300,000 in inventory. That will be an estimation, but it is a lot of inventory. We do have a lot of inventory, and you have to get to that point building up throughout the year. And even we're trying to keep sending products to FBA. I'm actually going to Houston next week because we have to send we have to prep and ship a lot of product that we have in Houston that we purchased that it's gonna it's probably $15,000-$20,000 worth of product that it's gonna get us ready for January, because in January there sales don't stop. They just if you have enough inventory, you keep selling. Some of the years, the last 3 years, January is being our biggest month in sales, because people, they just keep they just take a break for Christmas and then just keep buying.
Yeah, that's right. I've argued that January is definitely the best month of the first half of the year.
Yeah,
I think that goes without saying. February through June isn't going to compare to what you can do in January. And so I encouraged people last week to not view Christmas as the finish line. Maybe view the end of January if you're wanting to liquidate some of your inventory. But good. That's a good word. Josh has some questions. He's wondering about being ungated. A lot of wholesale buying comes from suppliers. I guess there's a couple questions in there. Yeah, wholesale, you're setting up accounts with specific suppliers. Your margins are probably going to be a little bit lower, but you might be able to identify products that sell quickly. And so, it could be that you could traffic in buying 100 or 250 or 500 of an item. And even though your margins are lower, maybe you're selling way more of that item every month. And that's helpful for generating revenue. In arbitrage, I tend to aim for 100% ROI, but I'm only buying 3, 5, 8 items. And a lot of times it's deals that you can find. And once you've sold those 5 items, you can't find that deal again. Wholesale is a little different because you are working with a supplier, and usually the deal that you can find is a little more consistent. So it becomes a replenishable product. And for that reason, your margins are a little bit lower. And anytime you run into a restriction, Josh, our recommendation is that you would pursue to apply for automatic approval, because it's possible that you can get automatic approval. And the way you do that is if you're using your Amazon seller app in a retail store, it's going to tell you that you're restricted, but in the lower right-hand corner, it'll give you an opportunity to apply to have that restriction lifted. And right there in the app, it'll move you to where you need to apply for that. And when you're online, when you go into your catalog to list a product, normally it has that little yellow square that says sell yours. If you're restricted, it's going to tell you that you can't list a new condition, but it's going to give you an opportunity to apply for that restriction to be lifted. In both cases, whether it's with your phone or on the computer, every time you run into a restriction, our encouragement is go ahead and try to apply to have that restriction removed. And in some cases, Amazon will instantly give you automatic approval. And then you're immediately ungated in that product, that brand, whatever it is, and you can sell. In a lot of cases, it'll take you to a page where it's requiring invoices. And for the most part, when we're doing arbitrage, you don't have the invoices necessary. A receipt from a retail store is going to be insufficient. So when I see that, I take it as a no. You at this time can't be ungated. But the more you sell, the more opportunities you have to have those restrictions lifted, because when they give you automatic approval, they're explicit right in the statement. They say, congratulations, you're now able to sell whatever based on your performance history. So, our recommendation is to continue to sell, build your business, and when you run into restrictions, seek to apply for automatic approval and just see. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. Have you ever sold grocery, Alan?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that category?
I like groceries because they sell all year long, and you can find items that sell over and over and over. And it's I think it's the category where you can find a lot more replenishables, but the margins are going to be very, very low. So, for example, I do have some of the items that I sell that are like hot sauce and just regular food items for your house. And they sell, and then they always sell. If I buy, I'm gonna be able to sell them, but the profits are very low. $1, $2 profit, which is not my main focus. But I do have them, and I do sell them all the time because it's an easy buy, and most of the time you're gonna find a lot of coupons and discounts at different stores. So we always keep buying them because it just keeps reselling with no issues. But for me, my main product, my ideal product is something that has at least $7 in profit, 40% ROI or higher. Those are my ideal products, and that's what I'm looking all the time. But every time I go out to Walmart, I know where to buy, what things to buy, because they're just replenishables. I just keep buying and they sell.
Yeah, those are nice. Somebody's asking if you can share what item gave you that push. I suspect the answer is there was no one item that did in arbitrage. But how would you respond to that? And I don't know, maybe was there a new category that you've happened upon that has worked well, or how do you want to answer that?
Most of my categories are shoes and clothing, home and kitchen, and sports and outdoors. Those are the main categories that we sell. And of course, for the end of the year, we've been trying to buy more toys and little things like video games and things like that. But it's mostly the main categories.
That's good. Matthew's asking about bookkeeping. Let's see. Not a huge fan of QuickBooks Online. That's what I use, Matthew. I use QuickBooks Online. I have a bookkeeper who helps keep track of that, just because I'm not good at it, and I don't want to have to do that. I like QuickBooks Online because it automatically just pulls all the data from my credit cards and bank accounts and PayPal account and stuff. And then my bookkeeper, who's a family member, she just kind of goes through it and keeps her pulse on it. But if you don't like that, one thing that we have in our membership is a inventory management spreadsheet that I put together. That's pretty helpful, and it's just an Excel document. What you need to do is track all of your purchases, and you need to do that so that you have a running cost of goods total, because at the end of the year, you have to present a cost of goods inventory to the IRS. That's a really important part of submitting taxes. So you need to keep that bookkeeping aspect in line. And if your sales are low enough, you can print and generate reports from Amazon. So that's what I do, even with QuickBooks Online, is every 2 weeks every time a pay period passes, you can print that statement. And one of the things that my bookkeeper does is she just enters that statement from Amazon into QuickBooks Online. You have to have some system, Matthew, to keep up with that. And I don't know how it's going to be less tedious than what QuickBooks Online supplies. If you just don't want to pay the money, and I think I pay $25 a month for QuickBooks Online. If you email me, maybe I'll send you that inventory management spreadsheet, and I can at least give you the basic outlines of how to use that. It's one of the advantages to our membership is we do deep dives into how to go through all that bookkeeping using that spreadsheet. Let's see. Aaron's mentioning FreshBooks, but I don't know anything about that. What are the questions? I'm guessing Aaron says that you both experienced pain points when starting. Yes, that's a fair guess. Anything you can say to help us avoid common pain points in arbitrage? Can you think of any examples, Alan?
I think for me, the one thing that has helped me, with my Amazon business is not so much trying to avoid them or trying to, not trying to do something so I don't have any issues, but for me, it's being more understanding how can I manage any situation or any problem? Because if you're selling on Amazon, and if you're selling a fair amount of items every month, you're gonna have issues like returns, people complaining, brands complaining, a lot of different things. And that's part of the business. I think for me it's more learning how to deal with these situations when they arrive, or when they arise to your account, and then going through that process, and having a support, or a community that can help you and support you in those situations. Because it's part of the business. We're gonna have all the time. I was actually sharing with you before we went live a couple of IP complaints that I have right now, and I'm trying to deal with them and going through that process. But if somebody thinks that they're not gonna have any issues, and they get a problem or an issue, they get discouraged. They might think Amazon doesn't work, or they might stop selling. And it's not the right mindset. I think for me it's more understanding how to deal with these situations when they happen. And if you have a community, if you have a support system, that's going to help you go through through that process every time you have it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Boy, I've experienced that. I think one ongoing pain point that I would mention is just you're going to be tempted to get mad at Amazon, probably for two reasons. One, they are in control of their business, which makes sense, and they can do what they want. And so, there are times when I'm competing with Amazon to get the buy box, which in the majority of cases I find you can do. And Amazon willingly shares the buy box. And if I have 5 items, I can sell them by matching Amazon, and I can get the buy box and sell. But there are times when Amazon decides they alone are going to have the buy. You just can't. Sometimes you can lower your price and kind of outbid Amazon, and then they'll let you sell. But then you're not making the money you thought you would make. And so now you've just got a choice. Like, am I going to get sideways with Amazon, who is free to do what it wants, or am I going to just navigate that well? Am I going to have a good mindset and guard? What business isn't going to run into challenges and obstacles like that? So that's one of them. I think Amazon will do things and make choices. I mean, I've got a stuffed animal. It's all it is a stuffed animal, and Amazon decided it was going to do a hazmat review on this stuffed animal. So I think that has less to do with the fact that Amazon is controlling, and it has more to do with the fact that Amazon's just huge. And so there's going to be things that happen that Amazon's not doing deliberately as an attack on you and your business, but they just happen because you're a part of something that's so big. They can't have their hands governing things so well that there's never going to be a mistake. And so I don't know why this silly stuffed animal got flagged as hazmat, but it did. And therefore I had to pull my inventory back and sell them as FBM. And again, there's an opportunity for me to get mad or to just roll with the punches. And so, I think those are probably pain points that are in kind of general and common to all business owners who are trying to do business startups. When you're selling on Amazon, I just find you're going to run into things that you can just get real grumbly, Amazon, blah, 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 and you can just get tweaked about it, or you can try to just work with it best you can and be patient and, think of it as a sunk cost. In economics, a sunk cost is something that's behind you, you can't do anything about, and now you have to recalibrate and reevaluate and have your emotions and your mind in the right place so that you can move forward based on your current reality and not be wasting time and energy on, well, if this hadn't happened, or if it had played out this way, or some hypothetical thing. To me, if you spend time and energy on hypotheticals, you're just wasting all of that time and energy, because it's not reality. Reality is, this is the situation you've been presented with, and the best thing you can do is to navigate it with wisdom. And that's where I agree with Allan. It's nice to have a community where you can ask questions, because 9 times out of 10, when I post something to the membership that I'm struggling with, people are like, oh, I've struggled with that too, or I'm going through the same thing, and you can kind of work together to just stay on the right path. So that's how I would respond to it. And I think, I talk a lot about mindset and the state of your heart, because it's huge on whether or not you're going to continue to move forward and be successful. Yeah. All right, let's crank on what questions remain. with the time that we have left. What's a good BSR to aim for in regard to shoes, Alan?
I always try to get 50,000 rank or less for shoes, but I'm gonna tell you it's really hard. And if you find items that are less than 25,000, there's gonna be a lot of competition. So I try to get as high as 50,000. Sometimes I go up to 100,000. And sometimes Amazon is going to do crazy things. Like I have about 25 pair of shoes, different brands, different listings that are in the 3 million rank right now. I don't know why, it just went from, less than 100,000, it just jumped. And I've been trying to analyze them and trying to figure it out. And for some reason, it just went too high. But when I'm scanning, when I'm looking and analyzing products, I try to do 50,000 or less if I can.
Good. Another question about shoes on here. What brand were you able to start with in the beginning that was unrestricted?
Well, you have to remember that I started, 3.5 years ago. So there was not too many restrictions back then. But I would recommend right now, if you're starting right now, find a brand that you can sell. Let's say it's not a very big brand, but it's a brand. Let's just say it's Adidas, and you can sell Adidas. Try to start once you know you can sell Adidas. Try to start looking at everything that they have, every different style, design, because they're gonna have probably at least 100 or maybe more different ASINs on Amazon, and then you start looking for that brand in different stores, trying to see if they have any specials, and then if you get a list and you get maybe 3, 4, 5 different brands that you can sell because you've done your research. Just focus on those brands and start building your sales, with those brands. And then once you start getting some sales, 50, 100 sales, go back to the big brands, Puma, Nike, and then start trying to see if you can get approved for some of their listings. But the main thing is just find the ones that you can, because every account is different. Even Eric's account and my account are totally different. So you want to find the ones that you can sell and then start building from there.
Yeah, I remember when I first met Allan, I had been selling on Amazon for like 3 years, and he was only had been selling for like 6 months, and he could sell Nike.
Yeah.
And for all 3 years that I had been selling on Amazon, I had always been restricted in Nike, and so I was like, what the heck? How does this guy sell Nike when he's only been selling for 6 months? I've been selling for 3 years. I can't sell Nike. What I didn't know is that you could apply and get automatically approved. And so I had
automatic approved back then.
Yeah. So like I think I had tried that once or twice way back in the beginning. And when I couldn't get auto approved, like I just assumed that the only way you could get a restriction lifted would be to submit all these documents. So I just never did it. And so like, here we are 2.5, 3 years later, and I'm talking to Allan and he's saying, just click on the button and try to approve, to get it approved. And I went immedately to try to list a Nike item and to get approval. And they gave me automatic approval right then and there. And I was like, man, I could have been doing this for years probably. And I didn't know it. So I don't know. I'm with Allan. Like it's hard to say. What you need to do, Salima, is just find what you can sell and work it as best you can. And then you'll get more and more opportunities the more and more you do sales. Sometimes, Allan, in arbitrage, you find listings that have a good BSR and stuff, but the listing is just suboptimal. They have bad pictures on it or something about the listing is off. Do you ever improve the listing? Can you improve it? Tessa's asking. And even if you can, do you ever do that?
You have to get approval from Amazon to change title or pictures or anything on that listing. It is possible if you ask Amazon and if they see that the changes are needed. But one of the things that I do for my business is I only buy 2 or 3 items of one product, so I don't have a big amount. And if I find something that is selling, let's just say it's selling 100 units a month, with back pictures, no reviews, only one picture, bad title, but it has a great rank. I don't really focus on trying to fix that listing, because I'm just gonna get in and get out within a few months. So I don't focus on that. The only thing I do is I don't like to buy products from listings that have 2 stars or 3 stars on their reviews, because I know those listings are gonna get a lot of returns. So if I see one listing on Amazon and it has 0 reviews, I don't have any problems. But if I see one that has 1 or 2 stars, then I don't like to buy that product, because I know I'm gonna get a return. If it has 3 stars, 3, 4, and 5 stars, then I know it's gonna be a good product for me.
Good. Yeah, I agree with all that. Ricocho is saying, does it help with your sales using promote listings with shoes on the 250K ranking? Do you know what he's asking by promote listings?
He's probably talking about advertising, having
like PPC,
running PPC on your products. We do run PPC inside the membership. We have a training on how to do it, why to do it, and what is the benefit of having running a PPC campaign. It is totally different than private label, and you can do it, but it's not necessary if you don't want to do it. But it does help you a lot if you have a PPC campaign turned on your inventory.
Yeah, and that's the only way that we recommend really doing any sort of promotion or advertising with Arbitrage. Rahim is asking a general question of how you detect products that are in high demand. What's the main way to do that?
We use a number that Amazon assigns to every listing called bestseller rank. And bestseller rank lets you say that a category on Amazon, the shoes category, has 10 million products. The product that has number 1, the rank is number 1, that's going to be the best selling on that category. And then the product that has 100,000 or 1 million rank is going to have less sales than number 1. So we try to find products that have the rank closer to 1, because we know that's going to have the highest demand. That's the items that Amazon is telling us this is selling, very fast, depending on what category. For example, for shoes and clothing, 100,000 rank is a good rank, but maybe for toys, 100,000 rank is a little bit too high, because the category is a little bit smaller than shoes. So you wanna start understanding and learn how to understand the ranking. And then the other thing that we like to focus on is the history of that product. Is it been selling for a long time? What has been the average rank for the last 90 days? So we do analyze all of that before we make the decision.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about selling on Amazon is your decisions to buy products can be data-driven decisions, so that you're confident in what you're doing. Just a lot of people who get frustrated with their business not succeeding on Amazon aren't allowing the data to drive their decisions. So they see an item that they like and think should sell on Amazon, but it's an emotional approach, or it's just kind of wishful thinking. They assume this product will sell, but they're not using statistics or data to drive that. Or they're just not calculating the potential to make money or not. And so they're making sales, but then, they haven't looked at the numbers the right way to realize, even though you're making sales, you're not making any money. And so what we're advocates for is moving your business forward by making confident decisions that the product you're buying is going to sell because it has precedent and the numbers tell you that. And you're able to look at the price history and the sales history and know, over and against what you can buy the product for, you're confident you can sell it for this, and there's adequate margin there to absorb the expenses that are involved and the FBA fees and whatnot. And so this is, one of the prime benefits of the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership is we talk every aspect of how you can make a calculated decision to find high quality products that are going to sell quickly and are going to make you money. And now you're not rolling the dice. We're not advocating Las Vegas style money making. We're saying you can logically and thoughtfully build a business based on the data that Amazon gives you. Rahim, that's the approach. that you want to take, because you want to be really thinking through the numbers that are provided. Winter Flower is saying, do you keep your prices up and lower them close to Christmas? I would say I don't lower my prices close to Christmas. When you get close to Christmas, the price of everything moves up. Because I don't know about you, but you know, the one or two things that I want to get for my daughter because it's Christmas time, I'm more willing. Doesn't mean I'm foolish, hopefully, but I'm more willing to pay a higher price for those items because I want to get kind of the things that she's asking for at this time of year. And so, you know, I'm kind of willing to go out there and spend a little extra on an item. And I think the population in general has that attitude, and just way more people are buying way more products this time of year. So demand is up, which pushes prices up. And so what I have found, Winter Flower, is that as you approach the fourth quarter and you're in the fourth quarter, prices go up. And so an item that I might have been able to sell for $19.95 during the summer is now retailing for like $24.95 or even higher. And so I'm not going to want to lower my prices at all I want to accommodate that, take advantage of that by raising my price. Or, you know, what we recommend is that you match the lowest FBA price, but what you're going to see is there's a general trend of prices being higher in the fourth quarter. And that's why we love the fourth quarter, and you can take advantage of that. So there is a time to keep your prices up. Maybe if you're anticipating that, you know that a product is going to sell for a higher price, you're free to set your sales at that price. So maybe the current buy box is at $14.95 for an item, but you are confident, maybe based on Keepa and the price history or on your own experience, or you just are anticipating the fourth quarter is coming or something, you could set your price at $21.95. And maybe you're not going to sell for a month or so, but you're believing that these other sellers are going to lose their inventory and the price is going to rise, and then you could take advantage of a better market. So you have the freedom to do that. And I think as you get more experience, you can think about how to price your items accordingly. Daniel Adam is asking if there's a deadline to ship in inventory for FBA. No, there's no deadline. Amazon did give a deadline, and they said if you want your products to be available for Christmas, you need to get them to us by December 3rd. Right. So that was their way of projecting. They even said explicitly, after December 3rd, we're going to be putting our primary emphasis on getting products to their customer. And so they're not guaranteeing that if your FBA products arrive after December 3rd, that they're going to have the capacity to get those products to go live in time for Christmas. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't send in FBA products and that it might not even go live for Christmas. They're just warning you, if you want your inventory prepared for Christmas, get it in by December 3rd. But no, there's no deadlines involved. They're just admitting that because of the busy time of year, don't expect, you know, that your products are going to go live 3 days after you ship them or something like that. Monica asks, I'll let you take this one, Alan. Do you have one account or more?
For this business, for my personal business with my wife, we only have one account, but I do have multiple accounts with other partnerships.
Let's see what else is on here. A couple minutes left. What's your goal? And I can answer this too. What's your goal for 2020? Alex is wanting to know.
Oh man,
have you thought about it yet?
I wish I
went through 2019.
I wish I could double my sales, but I don't know. We'll try.
Yeah, that's a good question, Alex. You've kind of caught me flat-footed. So, you know what, I think maybe Alan and I need to take your question to heart and come back, and before the end of the year, which is going to be here in like 3 weeks, we'll come up with an answer. But I think we're both a little flat-footed. I need to think more about that, to be honest with you. Tessa, the membership, the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership is $9.97 for a full year, which is, I don't even know what that is per month, less than $100. And it's a good investment. You get a free 30-day leads list, which gives you items 3 days out of the week that you can use to get started with online arbitrage. We've got over 60 videos of core content. Over 100 additional videos that are a deep dive on bonus material. We do updated ninja strategies. There's a live coaching every week. Community is available. It's well worth it. Again, check out the link below. We are promoting the membership basically because we're convinced it's helpful and it works. And, you know, somebody asked what advice I would give to myself in retrospect. The primary advice I would get give is to be a part of a community. I did this alone for 2 years and it was hard. And it took me a lot longer to learn stuff. I mean, I learned more when I got to know Allan and worked with him for a couple months than I had, the whole year previous, just because I had the help of somebody who had a different perspective. So that's not really my effort to promote the membership as much as it's just an honest answer to the question that it's really true about anything. If you're a part of a community that's got the same goals and the same focus in mind, they're going to help you a lot. And if you're not too arrogant to think that you have a lot to learn from other people that have gone before you, then that community is just going to be really helpful. Our members are really good at helping one another. Before I even get a chance to weigh in as a coach, members are helping one another move forward. We'll try to get to a couple more here. Eagle Eye Reports, Video Eye, that's a long tag. Transparency program, how's that affecting arbitrage for you guys? Any thoughts on that, Allan?
Well, to me, it doesn't affect me because I do buy from retail stores. So if the transparency program, as far as I know, they all the private label owners that are using that transparency program, they have to print out a barcode that they put on their products, and I don't buy from private label product owners. I do buy from retail stores. So if you go to Walmart or Target or any of these stores, Home Depot, it's the you're not gonna find any products over there that are private label owners that are selling through the transparency program in Amazon. So I don't have any issues with that kind of that kind of stuff. I most of the products that I find, they're on retail stores, and I don't have any a lot of issues in that regard.
Good. Well, we're past the 1 o'clock hour, and we're into the afternoon. I want to encourage you guys to have a great afternoon and a great weekend. If you're watching this by way of replay, or you just logged on with us, feel free to put comments in below. I try to keep in touch with us throughout the week, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Email me at eric@justoneDime if there's anything that I can help you with. Allan, again, congratulations on an awesome 2019.
Thank you, man.
Guys, I just want to encourage you that there is opportunity out there for you if you get ready to take action. Maybe 2020 can be the year where you actually step out and take some risks and make the investment that's necessary for you to begin to add margin to your budget. And certainly Allan and I wish that be the case for you, because we've experienced the freedom that comes with that, and it's encouraging and it's fun. So join us again next Saturday. We will be here on the 21st, noon Central Standard Time. Until then, you guys take care, and we'll see you next weekend.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.